The whole point of this is that you can buy your freedom, right? You're not dependent on your job. You have financial independence from your job. Hey, what's up? My name is Henry, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about how you can find your financial independence number. So, financial independence is basically when you can live off of your investments. Like you have enough passive income to just pay for the bills every single month. So, I think that financial independence is something that's kind of tough for a lot of guys. If they're, not thinking about it, they're just not thinking about it at all. That's a problem. And then when, they understand it, they heard about it, but then maybe it's feels like it's so out of their reach that they don't even bother, right? Or they just don't have the time, right? They don't have the time to spend in researching and doing the work that it takes to be financially independent. The other thing is that I want to throw out, it's important to find your number so that you do have a very specific goal. So there is sort of an end goal, something that you're trying to reach. And it's not just something that you're trying to do indefinitely, right? Let me just accumulate forever. Let me just work forever. Then it's just defeating the whole purpose. The whole point of this is that you can buy your freedom, right? You're not dependent on your job. You have financial independence from your job. So if you're just out there working, accumulating forever, that's kind of like you bought yourself another job. So how do we come up with a number that you'll be happy with, right? That you can survive with, that really makes sense in the long run? First, how much do you spend now, right? Check out all your statements, everything you got. How much do you spend? And then I would have that number in front of me, and then you have to add money on top of that. So I'm talking about monthly, right? So how much money do you spend a month? And then I would add a really nice percentage just for inflation, right? So maybe on top of that, do 20%, 30%. Be crazy. Why not? Make it a big goal. So 30%. And then on top of that, I would add 30% just in case there's a market downturn, right? Because there's always a downturn, right? Look at the world right now. If there is a downturn, if you hit your number, you will still have enough, right? So if you had a number, it was giving you a certain amount, but it dropped 30%, but you already factored that in, then you'll be fine, right? You factor in for inflation, factor in for downturns, give yourself a nice big number. Be crazy about it. Don't be afraid to set a big number. I think that when you set these big goals, then you're able to push yourself to do something about it, right? You don't want to set numbers that are too low, too easy, and really is not going to set you up. So what do you put it in to get you to this financial independence number? So I want to just give a couple ideas. So, the most basic foundational baseline thing that most people do, and I agree with, is just having an index fund to start with. So go with an S&P 500 index fund. I think almost any brokerage you can get it. It's low cost. It makes the most money in the long run historically. And you don't have to really think about it, right? If you just dollar cost average, just buy it regularly every month, just doing it that way, you'll be fine. So I suggest people do that up to a certain point. Or if you just really don't want to do any other kind of investments, then just stick with that. Stick with that all the way. But find a compound calculator and plug it in, right? If you're trying to hit the number that you want to get to, either how much worth your account has to be, or if you're trying to live off dividends, then you got to do the math and see, on average how much dividends will pay you and how much you're going to have to come up with to live off dividend. And then I think the other thing that I believe in the most, and I keep talking about it because it's so great that I have to keep talking about it, and I'm gonna keep talking about it, is real estate. Mainly rental real estate. So if you can just stock up on some rental properties over time, same as stocks, while, especially now if we're expecting any kind of downturn, to buy them with value so that they're under market, or, they need a little bit of work. So there's value add, right? You can force equity into some of those properties. Then that's the way to go. Because I think that, I keep saying it, but it has the best tax benefits. I think it's the best way to go if you're willing to put in the work. Okay, so it's not for everybody. If you don't want to deal with it, you can't get past yourself, then don't do it. And then look at businesses or any other thing in this world. Keep your mind open to any other possibilities that can give you any kind of income or passive income, right? That you can actually step away with. Because if you just found yourself another job, that's not the point, right? Then what's the point? You just found another job. So anything else, you have to keep your mind open. It could be, they always say royalties, business, but you have to look at it as any kind of business that eventually you could step away from. And I want to say, once you hit your number, you gotta be able to tell yourself, stop yourself. I know it's hard. A lot of people say it's not possible. How can you do? I'm positive, because my whole point of doing all this is not just to accumulate a bunch of stuff and, it's just about money. The whole point is about freedom. So when you hit your number that you're going to be good with, you have a lot of room for error, for inflation, and even if there's a market downturn, then you got to pivot. You got to start. Like for me, it's going to be looking at the debt that I have, and I'm starting to pay off some debt, right? And then start paying off properties. I'll still have index funds, I'll still have stocks, but then I'm looking to cut down on debt. That would be like my game plan when I hit the number. But basically, it's don't be greedy, right? People are greedy. They're gonna want to keep going and keep making this money. I'm telling you that I would stop, because once I hit my goal and I'm at a really, really, really good place, I'm not out here to try to, buy up everything, right? Buy up all of San Francisco. That's not the point. Okay, so what is my goal? What did I do, right? So just to give you an example, what I'm trying to do is get 20K net cash flow from my rental properties per month. And that's after tax. That is the goal. I know that might sound crazy to some folks. Maybe it's okay, but I live in San Francisco, so it's expensive, and over time it's just gonna get more and more expensive. So I think I at least have to have that goal set up first, right? And that's just off cash flow. So the idea is, once I hit it, over time when I start paying everything off, then the cash flow is just gonna blow up. There's gonna be even more cash flow once I pay off properties and I don't have a mortgage. And once I get to a good point, it's gonna be having property managers manage all these properties, and I can remotely manage those guys from wherever I'm at, right? I'm not trying to do all the work myself all the time. And I have to do that right now though, because in San Francisco, the way things work, you don't get a lot of cash flow, right? So you can't afford to just give away a chunk of your cash flow to the property manager. And in San Francisco, these numbers that we're talking about is ridiculous, right? These numbers could be like, one of my units is like $5,000 and I'm undercharging, right? Just to get like good tenants in there. So if I had to give just, like 5% of one unit to a guy, that's already a lot of money. I'm still trying to make more money, buy more properties, and make more cash flow. I can't just be giving it away. So at some point when I'm able to find a property manager, let them handle it. And then I could do whatever the freak I want. I could be anywhere doing whatever I want and still getting paid a whole bunch of money. I can like continue to work if I want, right? And then also if I want to just maybe do whatever I feel like doing, spend time with family, and then, I might start a business, something that I don't even care if it makes a bunch of money. Maybe if it just breaks even, it's fine, because I have like a bunch of cash flow in the back. Like I could do a coffee shop, right? My wife loves coffee. Just open a coffee shop so we have somewhere to hang out. My kids have somewhere to hang out, friends, family, whatever. Or a bike shop, something. I can just do whatever I want with my time, right? That is the ultimate dream. You got to be into this stuff though, if you want to have anything like that for yourself. And really, if you're not thinking about it, you're really screwing yourself pretty good, okay? You have to think about it just to give yourself a chance out there. Look at the world. Everybody's waiting for the stimulus, right? Or, look at all these articles where, people can't survive like a $400 emergency. They're like dying out there. But if you've been planning, right? And you've been doing all this stuff to even try to hit financial freedom, even if you're not there, you're gonna be so better off, right? Like if your cash flow is not fully there to cover everything, but guess what? You still have some cash flow. You still have some extra money that in case you lost your job, you don't have to find a job that pays you that exact same amount. You could actually find a slightly lower paying job just to get your foot in the door, and you still be fine. You still have the same standard of living. All right, so that's all I got for this one. Let me know what you think about financial independence, or what your number is, right? If you came up with it, what's your game plan? So thanks for watching and good luck out there.